Welcome back to your Pick a Card. As we get started, just thank everybody for tuning in. Feel free to pause the video to make your selection as we have group 1, 2, and 3. I will give you a moment. And in the meantime, between time, don't forget, if it resonates, to hit the like button. And if it doesn't, leave me a comment. Let me know what I could do better. If you're interested in more information on products and services, go to astronauthoochie.etsy.com. And we will go ahead and get started with group 1. Group 1. Let's see what you have here. We got some oracle cards. Very beautiful oracle cards. We have tarot and your sacred geometry deck. You have 34 and 10. That is 7 and 1, which would be 17, which would be 8. And I like that because strength, your strength, may lie in passion and authenticity. Authenticity is an energy that supports our choice to be genuine and truthful in all aspects of our lives, with others as well as ourselves. That's important. Passion. The frequency of passion reminds us that beneath every intense emotion lies the hidden gem of insight, balance, and calm. It assists us in finding the balance within this intensity, moving us from chaos to the calm of its core, where we can let its long-lasting wisdom fill us up. What I love about this is humans are going to human, okay, when it comes to human behavior. And I feel that this beautiful pink and authenticity reminding us of genuine choices, others and ourselves, could very well temper one in the passion of a moment if authenticity or truth was not present. So I don't want to say that maybe someone in your environment, or maybe there's a concept that you've been pondering that the validity of it is in question. That could get us passion, fired up. I don't want to say angry, but for some it could be that. On the bright side, authenticity and passion is just something like finding a true love. Not to say that this is specifically for love, but I can definitely see where someone being or something being its genuine, authentic self, and then myself in that same energy, and how I could get very passionate about, finding my collective, or running into that person, or finding that ideology, or, just something around that angle. And I love that for you. Okay, this card wants some cinnamon. Ooh! Okay. Group 1, you have the Wheel of Fortune, which does talk about fate. This is almost like love at first sight, but there are cards that represent like love and relationships, and you got authenticity and passion. So I feel that the fire in this clock and the fire in passion, which is the 7, is very mystical and magical, and it just says that being yourself could grant you the wishes that you desire, where the universe is working with you and for you. And all it takes is you to maintain a level of passion for your desires without overdoing it, right? And to be genuine and authentic in your endeavors. You can't lose, group 1. So let's see what we have. Oh, we got the wild unknown sneaking up in here, and then we'll flip over your, see what I'm talking about? This is energy. This could be a union. It may be marriage. It could be a yes. This is a happy day. You have the Wheel of Fortune and the Sun card that says the light is shining on you. It's definitely a time to bust out and break open. It could also talk about communication, because we're moving into the full buck moon, like the every blue moon shindaku. The antlers are falling off and regrowing, so it talks about regeneration. The fire is symbolic to, from what I've seen in the wild unknown, where the antlers are lit and usually the same color as the sword or the sun or something like that. So it just gives your capacity to receive information from source, as well as your mind and your imagination being on fire. So just pulling that out of you into this dimension could be as big as your bread and butter, or just something that your heart desires. And I think that that's super cool. Yes. Okay, you got 14. That number is connected to temperance, and 5, which have a connection to not only change, but the gods, right? You have luminous lagoon introspection. Guided by the gentle glow of introspection, I journey within, discovering the truth of my inner universe. So you got a card about your inner universe with the sun and the wheel of fortune on the table for you. You also have 29. That's what, 11, and we're going to leave it at 11 because it's not a 2. It talks about winter tide waves and connections. I like that. Now, I have seen this before, where like there's 3 birds flying and 2 are a little bit ahead of that third one. This may not mean anything, but I noticed that they specifically put it that way in this card. So look out for symbols and synchronicities. When I see those birds, I'm usually looking for an answer, or they're providing me with some sort of caution to a situation that I'm in when I see them. So as for you, when something is on your mind or you're in a situation, look to the animals for signs. Okay? Now it says that we're turning life's challenges into shared victories. And I love that, because most philanthropists, pastors, artists, creators, motivational speakers, CEOs, housewives and husbands, or retirees have a great deal of wisdom to share with the collective. And we definitely appreciate that from all of you that give it to us. And I feel that if you have gone through some challenges, it's okay to be honest about that, because the clock is ticking and changing for you in your favor. And I know that I've also experienced some situations that I didn't feel were supposed to be stamped to me or whatever. And I come online, or I'm just out in the world, and I see some people thrive through that authenticity. And I don't regret it, because, I'm going to be me, right? But I do take notice, put it in my back pocket, and I respect it, that some people thrive through challenges and discomforts in public, or share because they care with others that could be in the situation, whereas it could be in my natal chart, or just the approach that I took at that time, where I just wanted to move in silence and figure things out. And it could get harder when you're isolated and confused. And being authentic and sharing your voice usually brings about that change that's needed, as well as those favorable unions, or just good luck in your favor for your hard work and perseverance, right? Now, the last card that you have the whirling whirlpools. And this animal deck is all seasons, all elements. You have all water. So I think that that's kind of cool, because you have the fire and the sun, the birds for the air, which would give me like 4 swords. So this is victory for you. Being authentic and passionate may bring victory in some endeavor. And I think the support that you have is from a collective far beyond this world. And when I say that, not that I'm not shedding light on this one. It's just that I am a huge fan of jellyfish. So I just want to backtrack to that particular card and tell you guys how I connect that electricity to some of the origins of life. And it's like, are you serious? You that big of a fan? Yes. When I was doing research on chromosomes, don't ask why. I'm a nerd. I do shit that don't even matter for no reason and ask questions that may have 100 answers, and I don't believe none of them, right? So I'm looking at chromosomes and some other things about Earth. And you guys may have learned this in grade school because I get so much feedback about things that you guys learned in school, and I don't know what the fuck I was doing, right? But the jellyfish is the closest thing that we have to eternal on this planet. Before it dies, like when it's in danger, it just morphs back into its origin. So it like starts over. And I was like, that should be a bigger deal. And I'm sure it is somewhere. People are studying it. But that is, according to life as we know it, that is abnormal. And how is that so? Like, I don't want to harm the jellyfish, but I am curious about how I can have some of that. Okay. If nothing else, I've been in deep meditations where I've seen images that reflect very elegant, flowy, transparent, electric waves. So there's a divine connection, in my opinion, to jellyfish, and I think the creator of this deck agrees by putting the 14 on it, as well as the fact that some people say we all started in water. Like the origins of life fell from the sky into the water, and not to get all deep, in y'all stuff, but okay, that came out wrong. You feel me? So you have a lot of water here is what I'm saying. Water could be emotion. It also could be consciousness. And I love consciousness with passion because that's imagination and how we all got here. And source with this wheel of fortune is like backing you with this 10. That's something ends, completes itself, something new begins. That is the ultimate 1 and the 0, as well as like the programming. And I can go on and on and on. And as we talk about programming, 3 and 4 is 7. So the magician is considered like the engineer in the Matrix. Is it the engineer? I had a tarot, an oracle deck. Well, I think it was the programmer, not the engineer. But it's still cool because it refers to like Neo in the Matrix. And when it was time, right, and that eye opened, it was time. So your last card is 24. Always 24 hours in a day. You have whirling whirlpools, precision. You see that nose and that tail and everything else on them? Everything is precise. So this again sounds like fate and could have something to do with timing and intelligence, because you can't have precision without skill and intelligence. I know that from understanding why I would fail as a beautician, because I cut horribly. Their precision in cutting short hair or blunt cuts, I will not and cannot, right? And intelligence takes precision because you have to temper those emotions, to focus, to have a calm mind, to keep steady, to cope, all kind of things. In this card, it says, in the swirling chaos of life, I maintain focus, darting toward the opportunities that arise. Group 1, I think, long story short, there's an opportunity that's arriving because it's fated. I feel that you could have manifested it, or it's something that you're passionate about. So be true in that moment. Passion is connected to fire as well as the sun. Ego and authenticity are cousins, but not siblings. So I want to stress the fact that if there's an opportunity that's requiring you to be genuine and true, whether it's in a relationship or a financial opportunity or, it's very important that you're true to whatever. Okay, group 1. So we will move to group 2. Group 2. Let's open it up for you and see what we have some beautiful oracle cards. We're going to flip those babies over. Oh, let's see. There it is. We have one animal card from the Wild Unknown, a tarot card, and your two sacred geometry cards. So let's go. You have the light and the sacral chakra. These are very beautiful, by the way. So you have 1 and 9, which is 10, which is 1. And you have the number 2. So that would be 1 and 2, which is 3. And it's also 12. When I say 12, and intuitively what I got from seeing these two cards together, well, 12 and 3 have a story to tell as well, but I'll stick to my first thought. The sacral chakra is where a lot of the cords and connections are. It's also giving me like 10 of cups. So I feel that favorably, the 10 of cups could represent a happy ending. It also talks about being overwhelmed with delight, which is a good thing. And I feel that comes with some sort of disconnect from the karmic relationships and karmic cycles. So that's great for you, because the sacral chakra is said to be where those cords connect. Now, whether or not you resonate with that, if you would like to experience it, a lot of, I think a hint would be in your energy. Okay. So the solar plexus and the sacral chakra, as well as the root, are all important for your vitality in the third dimension. Not that the other ones aren't important, they all are, but specifically toward your physical energy, chemistry, passion, mobility, vitality. It's here. So I do like that. There may be something brought to your awareness. And I see, even though this represents the sacral chakra, it's the solar plexus that is more of the yellow, and it's all intertwined. Now, the reason why I think for the most of you it's a favorable thing is because of the light pink. And in both cards, the red is tamed and like offset, so it's not an alert or pushing me toward this root chakra, right? So in the delight card, the frequency of delight supports our capacity to create and experience feelings of intense joy and happiness. The more delight we feel, the more delight we evoke in others. The frequency of the sacral chakra, the orange flower of life, supports our ability to flow with our desires and stimulates our creative power to manifest success, abundance in our lives. So when I thought about the 12 and the 3, 3 is connected to the Empress, the 12 is connected to the Hangman, and the Hangman is the star that is cut from the umbilical cord of the mother that reaches this awareness, which is where the sun, you flip around and now you have this halo or whatnot. And I feel like for some of you that could represent 2 life cycles or 2 very important transits that could be happening in your life. I know that I posted on the community board a few transits that may be important for July, not so much 2024, but I do have a 2024 list. And I had no idea that there was a transit in Capricorn since 2012 that's leaving this month. There's also, I think Neptune has been doing a thing for some years that's, some of them are leaving out early 2025. So anyway, this could just talk about 2s. And things coming in 2s is favorable. Sometimes they say when things come in 3s, it's like, thumbs down. But for you, it's 2s. I also feel that these cards are going to tell us a little bit more about what you could be happy about. But I feel like your energy and happiness, or your awareness of where your energy is, may be important for you, group 2. Yeah. See what I'm saying? You have a halfway mark here. Okay. Now, what I do like about the 5 of Pentacles is that it's connected to the heart. but it's like emptying out the heart. And sometimes that doesn't feel good. Sometimes when we are activating the heart, or it's just time, you're having some sort of awakening, and it may affect different chakras, different aspects of your lives. For some, it's considered bad health if you've not had a lot of energy, if you haven't been really happy, if certain things are coming to your awareness that seems to be taking your energy, if you felt energy deprived. It also talks about your stability. So I'm glad that the sacral chakra did point out desires, stimulates our creative power, abundance, and it's the second card. So if any of those things are being challenged, I feel because of our focus at times, the Five of Pentacles could present a sense of being out in the cold, not having the best health in a sense, and maybe needing more orange and yellow in your life, okay? It also could speak for some of you that may have situations around work, feelings of despair, being relocated or in between permanent locations. And if it's in a relationship, it's like focusing on the bright side may help with some of the physical ailments from not focusing on the bright side, okay? Now, next to it, these cards are telling us to move away from this Five of Pentacles energy. Some of you have because of your focus, your ability to be direct. It also talks about your direction. And we talked about the shark a little bit earlier today, so that is insane, where it was like enthusiastic, you know, and full of drive and things of that nature. But when in dark, it could be, you know, kind of like the bad friend in the Three of Cups, pretty much. So if we're feeling out in the cold because of people and things in our environment that provoke that, changing our focus and our direction away from that is very important for our abundance and for our health to improve. Now, there was something specifically that I want to share with you, group 2. So here it is. Directness, exposure. Yeah. Exposure and sun and Five of Pentacles. If you're not getting enough sun or getting out, we want to try that, right? And it also talks about something that could take over you if you're hesitating to be honest about it, being totally ourselves, or to say what we really want in the situation. Okay? Now, that could be to any of those connections in that sacral chakra. And also that 19, when I mentioned like the hangman and upright and, you know, coming into this awareness, for some of us, the hangman could represent surrender, you know, a pause, reflection. And then once we get through that moment, you know, we got to get pushing, but it could take some time coming out of pause, reflection, and being upside down for so long, financially, emotionally, physically, whatever, because I know how all of those feel. And it's like you want to come out running with the shark, and it doesn't always work that way. Some of us don't have the energy, the means, or the funds to do that. And then others of us, it's like, you might, but, right? So we're going to see if and what that but is about, okay? Now, these beautiful oracle cards that you have here, I did take a sneak peek earlier. And this is one of my favorites. Look at that cutie pootie, okay? This is the number 28, one of my favorite numbers because it's my birthday. Crystal Frost Agility. From a state of calm, I harness the swift agility of intuition, propelling me forward with clear intentions. So, the hangman, getting the whisper from the high priestess, there could be some changes in beliefs. I know some belief systems don't support or engage in, you know, the high priestess outside of someone within the community or collective. So There could be something about your perspectives changing, um, actual religious beliefs, and or just I'm noticing how these cards in the front or in the winter, and this is kind of like the ice melting coming into the spring. So if you don't resonate with like the changes in beliefs or people in your environment having different ideologies than you, it just talks about, yes, be calm, be still, to get what this calm state, excuse me, for this intuitive thing that you're waiting for. And then once you get that, move swiftly. I think moving around without that is moving around directionless, and our shark is not directionless. So it is okay to, wait for that thing, and have that peace of mind and state of calm to get it, because that's the only energy I feel that it's going to present itself to you in. And then you have the snow lake, the number 31, which talks about a transformation. So it's like things were not hard, but just cold, right? And through that is a transformation. You have 31, which is a 4, the number of the emperor. With my head held high, I reflect on the past and gaze toward the future. So reflecting on the past and gauging toward the future is exactly what the 5 of Pentacles and the shark are advising us to do. Okay? I like the way that that's positioned, because all of these animals move. These move fast, and I think this one moves with a lot of power. Most bears also represent a sort of awakening or coming out of a slumber. And remember the tortoise and the hare story. So it's like feeling like you have a reason to take your time or take this nap could cost some coins. So everybody that's in a hangman position has a different reason for being in that hangman position, but also has a different whisper that could be coming from their intuition. Some of us don't need to sit down too long. Others of us be confident and okay with it is just time to surrender, until you get whatever that intuitive nudge is that you need. They all are very transformative. You have the nectar, which is the number 9. For some of you, some things may have ended, which is this winter, okay? Which may be this hibernation, which could be this despair, okay? Or feeling burnt out, because sometimes, the sun is a very abundant, auspicious card, but could also represent being burnt out, especially next to the Sakura chakra and 5 pentacles, okay? Now, you could have been forging forward. Some of you are very abundant, hardworking individuals that might need a break with these cozy little cuties right here. Now, the nectar springs evolve. So there's some sort of evolution happening here. In the delicate evolution of life and death, I recognize the heaven that exists in every moment. This is very favorable advice to get out of this without spending a lot of money, wasting a lot of time, and talking to a lot of people. Pulling yourself out of despair. If there's not some medical deficiency that requires a licensed practitioner, changing your perspective, changing your environment, or finding contentment and acceptance with the things that you cannot change is what's going to not only save the 2 nerves that you have left, it's going to stop producing negative chemicals into your body that are going to wear you down even more. Now, we all may have learned from the pandemic that sitting still and staying indoors, while it is very therapeutic, okay, because I love naps and outside can get ghetto, we still need minerals that we receive from the sun. I think our eyeballs just tell something to our brains when we're looking at walls all day and hadn't felt a breath of fresh air. Go touch some flowers. Some of you may get signs and synchronicities from rabbits, or butterflies, or like me, if you're somewhere by some water, you could see a shark or two and argue with your children about whether or not they're dolphins, but none of us are going to go see. So, group 2, that was cute. I just thought about it. Group 2, you got the number 2 for the sacral chakra. So, most of you that may resonate with the choice of group 2, your second chakra may need some attention for whatever reason. And with this number 19 for the sun, it may be connected to a sun. Okay. I leave a lot of that out, but some of you are parents and grandparents, and you've been dealing with maybe children and neighbors throughout the summer, right? And it could take a toll, okay, where they're so sweet and cute, but you could be more direct because they wearing you low, right? It's some awesome advice that I would give to any parent, like even myself, okay? Well, I'm gonna put this little butterfly right here. But something is changing. The butterfly is also connected to the 2 of Pentacles and the Death card. So death, transformation, regeneration, Scorpio, karma, as well as in financial embarrassment, gaining momentum, and juggling. Some of us that are juggling are tired. Those of us that may have experienced financial embarrassment, that ice is about to melt. The spring is coming, beloved, and it may come with a few drops of water, which could be, out of that bucket he fallen out of, or some tears that were shed. But do understand and know, your change is coming. The ice is melting. The spring is on the way, even though it's the opposite, like fall is on the way in your cycle of life, okay? The sun is shining on some of this ice as well as these pentacles. And when the sun shines on pentacles, you can get 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever. So I really love that for you, group 2. I do hope that it helps. And don't forget to hit the like button. Claim your reading, honey, with these gaining some momentum and having some extra energy with this very lucky little bunny. Like, I want one. I want one that look like that, though. I don't want the regular bunny out of the Petco. Not that there's anything wrong with those. I just want that one. Okay? And we will move to group 3. Group 3, it is your turn. You have some beautiful animal oracle cards here. We're going to sit them there. You also have a message from the Wild Unknown Tarot and Samnia Tarot, one of my favorites, my new favorites. Like, all of these are my favorites. That's crazy. I have like so many cards and I use my favorites. And here are the sacred geometry cards that we'll start with. These are pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. We have one of my new favorites, okay? The concept of the eyeball angel, and I blame TikTok. I blame my kids. I blame books. I blame rabbit holes. But it reminds me of that angel with that's just the eyeball or whatever. It doesn't have to be that for you. And if you have a belief system or a practice where angels aren't included, I'm okay with that because I'm a real flexible person. But you have freedom and honesty. Both remind me of winged beings. I mean, freedom literally looks like a fairy. It also gives the energy of the world card, which does talk about the ultimate completion, like the graduation of all graduations, to be released from those things that bind us and having the capacity to move in any direction. Oh my gosh, I'm learning. So the any direction thing is like the queen on the board of chess, or even, I guess, the mission, which is protecting the king. And the only reason why I add that part is because there's a pink freedom card and there's a blue one in this deck. But I also am noticing the square in the backdrop that's tilted at the angle, as well as the cross that's sometimes connected to the Hierophant. So this is a big deal when it comes to rank, accomplishment, and freedom and liberation. This isn't tarot, right? These are your oracle cards. So according to the card, it says the energy of freedom supports our sense of limitless possibility and potential, boundless expression, and bold exploration. And what I love about that the most is limitless is like that pill that you take and you become, your brain probably look like this, where you find solutions. Challenges don't stop. The world doesn't change, but your perspective of it and the action and intelligence behind the moves that you make on your chessboard are going to be, or probably are, phenomenal. Now, having a fairy with you or some sort of angel guiding you could also give you this limitless capacity. We don't need pills, right? For you, it could be in the unseen. The number 23 is a 5, and the number 21 is a 3. You may resonate with the number 35, which I do feel has some sort of a numerological, is that a word? It has some sort of stance in numerology. And then 3 and 5 would be 8. That could be significant to the near future, which is August. Okay. If some of you have animal oracles or a connection to the Lionsgate portal, a twin flame, because this card, I believe, and this one came up in a reading of the twin flame, and it goes both ways. Group 3, don't block me or leave yet, because I don't care about no twin flame, because some people feel the twin flame could be that love of their life. It could be this new person they met that sparks them a way they've never been sparked. It could also be the pain in the ass relationship that you never got into, still somehow can't get over, but don't want nothing to do with. And it still won't leave you alone, right? My interpretation, something that I implemented when I started this channel, was the twin flame to me was this higher self or this spiritual being, this guide that was now part of you, regardless of where it comes from. And it's like your companion through this life. I've seen it recreated in cartoons like Luna. My kids watched that, and I forgot where we saw it. Maybe on Netflix, maybe on Disney. I don't know. It's not a promoted, sponsored ad or no shit like that. But when the little girl took the thing to the lady, and the lady was needing the thing because it was this one blue moon, right? Where she could connect with this long lost lover, and the lover was, like ghosty. It wasn't a physical being, but they were in different dimensions, and at this one moment in time, they could connect. Another aspect of my interpretation of twin flame is also kind of connected to the 8. When you see the lady and the lion, some tarot decks, some oracle decks show a kind of transparent chick, with this lion, where the lion could represent the physical, the ego, or the aspect of us that needs her, and whatever the alliance is or allowance is from the lion to her, right? So there are two things that are one, which is also how I connect the seraphim or Archangel Raphael or this little fairy or whatever. You can have soulmates that feel that way, but 21 and freedom and honesty could also connect to the higher self, where without limitations and those things that bind us and traumas and early childhood inner issues and stuff like that, this is pretty dope to start your reading out with. So I'm not mad at it. Oh, and this one, the energy of honesty supports our choice to be courageous, truthful, and genuine with kindness and tact. Okay? So I ain't gonna even hold you. Group 3, that is a cycle that I am probably in the collective with you in, or have been at some point. 10 Cups looks like this honesty card, and I feel like you'll be happiest if you stand up for yourself and speak your truth. I also feel like not doing that could be emotionally overwhelming. And just like me, when I talked about the family and the ties and breaking free, all that I said could be necessary. You also have a 10, which sort of like 21 represents something beginning to end, some level of completion that guarantees a new beginning or another start. I super love that. If this is about my twin flames, I feel like honesty is going to bring this thing together, or dishonesty, a lack of tact and kindness could have took it apart. And I've experienced the heartbreak as well as the euphoria of events, between a person I considered a twin flame, okay? Or a soulmate even. Some of you, it's like no twin flame over here, actual soulmate. And some soulmates have been with us from the beginning of time, which is also connected to the companion or a soulmate, like someone that has been with you through any lifetime, all lifetimes, and the beginning of literal time. Even if you wasn't human, you could have been one of them dinosaurs, child, reincarnated. Here we have the Page of Pentacles. They do say that the pages are messengers, and that's why the rainbow is there, usually to represent the rays or the spectrum, the different dimensions, like the different chakras. But for you, it could talk about why you need that confidence. It may talk about our habits and being consistent, and something that needs to be put above other things. So how you feel may need to rise above some other situations, but moving with tact and kindness could be important. The page usually talks about habits though, and details. Okay, so some details that require honesty could be coming up. And I won't lie to you, group 3, I'm feeling like this could be a soulmate, which doesn't have to be intimate. It could be that family member that you're going to have to tell, but you need to tell them. It also talks about something arriving that you're going to be absolutely happy with. Some snail mail if you've been looking for a package or something like that. I feel like you're going to be pretty excited about it. And a gift or something is being brought to you that may have taken some time. Now, this could be a knucklehead that was vain and just off doing their own thing. It could also be something you're going to have the capacity to take care of, because I don't know what your conditions are or what you want in life, but it doesn't have to be a child. With me looking at this stork, it's just like the stork usually brings something, right? The baby. What's the baby? Something we're creating, something we're going to take care of. It's like a little life, okay? One of my favorite cards that came after you, group 3, is another 21, which is a seahorse. So the seahorse, they mate for life. So notice, like I said, either, a physical twin flame, a soulmate, or this spiritual companion. It's for life, dude. And I think it's dope. And don't get me started down a rabbit hole with my love bugness, because I see Twilight. And, in Twilight, those were twin flames, honey. And it was the oddest of balls. And it's like, I know it's a movie. I'm hopeless romantic. I love rom-coms, but some ancient, almost mystic, or definitely mystic, okay? Let me just not shave any off. I just love it, right? The vampires and the wolves and legacy, and the child was born, and the hybrid that changed time, which also talks about like generational curses that we talked about. I ain't gonna tell you what card because you didn't pick it, what group, but I think that that's super dope, man. And even in Twilight, I think the freedom came from, standing firm, but not disrespecting the tradition. Like they weren't disrespectful to the red jackets, but they wasn't standing down because they knew deep down inside they were right. See what I'm saying? Oh my gosh. And that's just how you got to do them people that play with you like that. When you know deep down inside that you're right. I'm a Pisces, not gonna lie to you. I have had a habit in my younger years of becoming emotionally overwhelmed, okay, when in confrontation or just I'm being talked to and not being heard, right? Now, the seahorse may not fit that matter, but it does say, rooted in my core values, I embrace life's tides, trusting that I remain aligned with my authentic self. And it's like, no matter what people say or what's going on or reality, I know who I am, what I'm doing, and what I want, and none of that affects me, and I'm built for it. And this beautiful little creation looks to have the form, right, and the technique for all of those ripples and waves. And I think that's why the seahorse, when we see them, even if you see waves, the motherfuckers just be lingering right there, right? So it's like, I'm not going anywhere. It may be a relationship that can stand the test of time, child. That's amazing. Okay, because here go the ripples right here, and they long overdue. So you could have a good cry about something, child. I don't know. The stork is beautiful. The challenge could be grounding oneself. I see all of this green, and we're talking about all of this air and water, but the page is right here as well. And it says Emerald Pond and Balance. The Page of Pentacles has always been my divine child and someone that inherits, okay? Something was inherited, right? The Emerald Pond, or emeralds in general, have always had a mystical, ancient, historic, phenomenal storyline. So look into it. And it's the number 6, if that matters for any of you. But it says, Emerald Pond Balance, like the poised heron, I balance patience with actions, finding equilibrium in both stillness and pursuit. That's kind of like this, what is that called? Seahorse. Because like I can't tell when they move, and they just move oddly or differently. Okay, let me say that. They just a little different. And I'm laughing because of when I said like the poised heron, I know that that's an archangel, an angel, an ascended master with in one of the rays, and I just can't figure out which one, but that could be significant to your story. Group 3, if you want to look into that, I think Hilarion or something like that. I don't know. Check it out. May not be nothing there, but look into it. So you have balance. You have anchored, balanced, and rejuvenation. And this is the fall. So there may be something in the near future. It says, I welcome new beginnings with open arms, finding refreshment and renewal in every drop of life's experience. There could be something very beautiful and breathtaking that happens in the near future for you, to you, that could serve as a distraction. Anytime I see a peacock online or in a movie, specifically this one time, they were trying to do something. This lady and one of her relatives was on some goofy shit. I ain't gonna lie. I think they had unalived someone. It's a movie, right? No trigger alerts or nothing. And the neighbor, you know, which is like Karen or something, came over being nosy and at a bad time. So a peacock just magically appeared and walked across the street, and everybody turned and looked at the peacock so they could hide or finish whatever they was doing before this neighbor came. So not to say you're going to experience any of that. None of these cards point to foolery, but it does point to something that would be a sight to see. And I think that could make you happy, and it could even be yourself. So some of us, it may be a little mirror magic or getting our image together, which connects to this honesty and this freedom that's connected to the world card, where the world card is usually a naked lady, child, as is the page, who's more like the star. So I don't know if somebody's happy to see you, or you'll be pleased with how this thing appears or how you appear. Child, y'all, not seeing each other for so long, gonna run into each other's arms, child, and be like, oh my God, oh my God. Doesn't have to be that for everyone. Pick what fits, leave everything else for someone else. If it does resonate though, don't forget to thumbs up. It's like an energy boost to the channel. I appreciate them. And group 3 is a wrap. Until next time.